Good evening and welcome, partners and friends of the Lubavitch Cheder. Welcome to the draw, which we are pleased to be hosting once again, but this evening as an in-person event. Having been associated with the Cheder since its infancy, and having seen hundreds of children walk through the doors and eventually graduate, I can say with absolute conviction that the Cheder message in Chinuch, Jewish education, is a timeless message. It is the same now as it was 45 years ago when the Cheder was founded. Please let me illustrate with a story. When the first formal Chabad yeshiva was founded, going back to 1897, there was a great emphasis which was placed on proper devotion to prayer. In the town of Lubavitch, it was proper conduct that when the Lubavitcher Rabbi would enter the study hall, all the students would rise out of respect. On one such occasion, when the Rebbe entered the study hall, the students all stood up, except for one. There was one student, whose name was David, who remained seated. But it wasn't because he was being disrespectful. Rather, he was engrossed in prayer so much that he was totally oblivious to everything else going on in the room, even the presence of the Rebbe. This David represented the fulfillment of a major goal, an ideal of the yeshiva. The Rebbe noticed that David was not standing up, and that he was totally involved in his prayer, to the extent that he didn't even notice that the Rebbe had entered the study hall. Then the Rebbe made the following assessment of the situation and said as follows: "This student represents the full return of my investment in founding this yeshiva. Everything else is profit." In operating Lubavitch Cheder over the years, there has been substantial investment, a monetary investment, energy, time, even sweat and blood. But undeniably, we can look at any given student, past or present, and say that he or she represents the full return of our investment. I say our investment because we are many investors who are involved, many of whom are here this evening. Each of our students is a ner lahoyer, a candle, a source of illumination, whether they are here in Minnesota or in Kharkiv in Ukraine. Each of our students can illuminate and positively affect their surroundings and positively affect the world. This evening, we have the absolute pleasure and privilege to hear from one of our former students who is stationed on Shlichus in Kharkiv in Ukraine, Mrs. Sarah Levinson, formerly Sarah Silman, who is here together with her husband, Rabbi Chaim Levinson. Before we hear from Rabbi and Mrs. Levinson, I will call on Rabbi Osher Zeilengold, the Rav of the Adath Israel Synagogue in St. Paul, to lead us in the chapters of Tehillim connected with the Rebbe and the Rebbitzin. Those who want can follow along on the screen.